afternoon. My name is Jan Matthews, and I'm going to be officiating here with you today. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Yes. That better? Okay. Well, I want to welcome everyone here today, and on behalf of myself and all of the aisle staff, we extend our deepest sympathies to all of you in this loss. And we are going to start out by reading the obituary of Cynthia Dawson, and Allison is going to do that for us.
Okay. Cynthia Dawson, 60, died peacefully Tuesday, January 17th, 2017, at her home in Des Moines. I don't know if I can do this. Cynthia was born February 1st, 1956, in Houston, Texas, to Eleanor Simmons and Wilbur Small. Survivors include her children, Michael and Jen Evans of Indianola, Misty Evans of Denver, Colorado, Allison Evans of Des Moines, and Julie and Angela Henley of Des Moines. Grandchildren, Terrence Baker, Andrew Evans, Nicholas Baker, Jared Evans, Kalia Baker, Aiden Laton, and Atlas Laton. Siblings, Mary and Lee Rutledge of Texas, Nancy and Terry Broadway of Texas, Gwen and Will Carlson of Texas, and Linda Josiak of Texas. Cynthia was preceded in death by both her parents and her brother, Kenneth Herta. Cynthia was an avid reader, loved to crochet, watch movies, draw, garden, and later in life, travel. Her biggest joy was spending time with her children and grandchildren. Cindy leaves behind her cherished dog, Bambi, as well. Cindy was employed at LMC ABIS for 16 years and enjoyed her time there and the friendships she cultivated immensely. She will be missed greatly by all of those she had a chance to have in her life and will never be forgotten for her beautiful smile and for being the best at giving hugs.
Thank you, Allison. Well, I met this week with some of the family, and I guess I first want to express my deepest condolences to Michael, Misty, Allison, Julie, spouses, grandkids, family, and friends. I am so sorry for your loss. As we talked this week about Cindy, we kind of all agreed that she was a survivor. And then as I reflected a little bit more after we talked this week, I concluded that even beyond being a survivor, she was an overcomer. She didn't just survive, she overcame. She was a woman of strength and perseverance. The early years of Cindy's life were difficult years, rough years. She didn't get an easy start in life. It was a hard beginning. She married young, she had her kids. In the course of her life, she moved many times, big moves, across the country moves, cared for her kids, and she often faced really amazing, incredible challenges. It just seems like she always picked herself back up again. And then when she had to, she made the best with what she had. No matter what life threw at her, she seemed to overcome. And as she learned early on, that life can be hard. Disappointments come, people let you down, but you go forward. That's what Cindy did. People let her down and life was hard, but she always went forward. And through all those moves, through all those disappointments, many times, Julie says, even with nothing, she always made it work. She did the best with what she had. We talked about a few memories. I heard about her Southern cooking, Texas style, everything fried. She loved liver and onions. She loved her baked potatoes. Michael shared a story about the milkshakes that she used to make when they were kids. And one time she actually shredded the wooden spoon in the blender with the milkshakes. The really sad thing is she let them drink the milkshake before she confessed. We talked about clothes. Julie had visions of fashion 80s style as we talked. She used to dress Allison and Misty like they were twins. She volunteered with the United Way as she was older. She helped with Meals on Wheels for elderly people. She liked to serve. It just sounds like she really cared about the less fortunate. And I think it's probably because she understood. She understood what it was like. And that's why she did lots of different kinds of volunteering. And Michael stated, he said, I'm grateful that she instilled that in us because it sounds like all of you volunteer a lot. And it wasn't something that she just talked about. It's something that she modeled and that she did. You saw it in action and you followed in her footsteps. She loved Marvel movies, action films, superheroes. She loved John Wayne, and she loved country music. Julie mentioned when she was little, her mom would blast this country music and Julie would dance around on the bed. And she even, it sounds like she was a line dancer also, Cindy was. I remember the days of that. I never could quite get it. And from what I understand, she was a little bit sarcastic and sassy. The quote was, she was really quite funny. And it sounds like she really had a sense of humor. And I'm guessing that she had that sense of humor even when times were really hard. Sense of humor gets you through a lot of things, right? She always loved to learn. She never stopped learning. Wow. That's an example for all of us. And Angela talked about when, as they were getting to know each other, they had a good time talking about Texas and the food that she loved to cook, all the southern food. Fried salmon burgers, did I get that right? Never had one of those. And fried okra. There was some controversy in the room as to how good that would be, but some people really liked it. She found her groove in her later years. She ended up settling in Des Moines. She put down roots here. She was really proud of her job at LMC. She found her place there. The people cared about her. She cared about them. And she started at the bottom there, and she worked her way up. She treasured her coworkers. She felt included. She was a part of something. She was there for 16 years, and she worked hard to get where she was, and that was really important to her. Cindy lived with Julie and Angela for 5 years. They have a zoo, they tell me. Literally lots of animals. And from what I understand, Cindy would complain about those animals, but she loved those animals. And she loved Bambi, her dog. And she thought it was pretty neat that they had a goat. She was independent. She learned to be, probably, in the course of her life, you learn to be independent when you've taken care of yourself for so long. So when she got sick last year, it was hard for her to need care. She didn't want to burden anyone. She never liked to show weakness, and I think a lot of us are that way. But from what I heard in conversation with Julie and Angela, maybe what she didn't quite understand is that they counted it an honor and a privilege to give her that care. You honored her well. Cindy had a mother's heart. She deeply loved her kids, her grandkids, her family. She taught her kids the value of education. She wanted them to have opportunities that she didn't have. And she always encouraged them to be their best. Angela was telling me that just moments before Cindy took her last breath, they were having a conversation. I think that means that she lived until she died. I want that. So as we reflect today on the life of Cindy Dawson, we honor her. We honor her perseverance, her compassion, and her heart. And many people, including those in this room, are better because she lived. And now we're going to have Jennifer is going to read a poem.
Miss me, but let me go. When I come to the end of the road and the sun has set for me, I want no rights in gloom-filled rooms. Why cry for a soul set free? Miss me a little, but not too long, and not with your head bowed low. Remember the love that once we shared. Miss me, but let me go. For this is a journey that we all must take, and each must go alone. It's all a part of the Master's plan and a step on the road to home. When you are lonely and sick of heart, go to the friends we know and bury your sorrows in doing good deeds. Miss me, but let me go.
So as we remember today, I guess I would challenge you, what do you take with you from Cindy's life? What did you learn from her? I put together a few words that seem to describe her a little bit. Strong. She kept going when so often it must have seemed like life was against her. Compassionate. She knew what it was like to be in need, and that gave her a heart for people who were in need. Lifelong learner, never stopped learning. She had a big heart. She loved her family and extended family and so many others. Survivor. As I heard about her life, I was amazed at all that she lived through and the positive outlook that she maintained and the way that she still loved people. And she stayed sassy too, by the way, from what I understand. She was never without hope. She was never without hope. And an overcomer. Life can be deeply painful, as I'm sure we all know. She learned to make the best of it, not just to survive, but to overcome. So what we can take with us today, a few of those attributes that challenge me, and let it challenge you. Strength, rising up from the ashes. Compassion, noticing people around us that are hurting. Learning, getting out of our ruts and challenging ourselves to new horizons. Brave, stepping up when others step out. Risk taker. It sounds like she was never afraid to take a risk. And when things get hard, we charge ahead. And a big heart. Some of us can get hard with the experiences of life. There's an old saying, you can get bitter or you can get better. I think Cindy chose better. And that's what I would challenge all of us to do as well. And so we honor Cindy today. We're challenged by the way she lived, and we can all aspire to grow in those areas: strength, compassion, learning, overcoming, bravery, risk-taking, and a big heart. May the life of Cindy Dawson always be remembered for what good that she did, the legacy that she left, and the love that goes forward in everyone that she touched. And I would encourage you all, after we are finished with this service, sharing those memories, and I would encourage you with Cindy's family. If you knew Cindy in a way that maybe you knew her at work, tell some stories. They want to hear those. You probably have some sassy stories, I'm guessing. So share some of those, because when you are the person who just lost someone, it is so wonderful to hear people tell you things about them that maybe you didn't know before. So share those things. And we share the good memories, and sometimes we share the hard times too, the hard memories, and that's okay, because that's what life is. I've often said, I hear a lot of times that when people pass away, they graduate to sainthood. And I have some really dear people in my life that have passed away, but they definitely weren't saints. So we remember that as well, because that's life. I just want to thank you all for being here today. And we're going to have a song played here, and then we'll go forward.
Life
Again, I want to thank everyone for being here. This concludes this part of our service. Again, on behalf of the family, it means a lot that you're here. And once again, share the memories. Take a few minutes to do that. And the family has asked that each of you take a rose. Is that correct? You know what I love about that? You probably know this, but yellow roses are a sign of friendship. And I think that's pretty cool. So John will instruct you from here.